Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Championship Round podcast. I'm Andrew, joined by Taj and Dan on the day after one of the best fights of this year and a historic fight in terms of the light heavyweight division and boxing in general, with Artur Beterbiev taking a majority decision over Dmitry Bivol to become the undisputed champion at 175 pounds. In a fight that's been hotly debated ever since the final bell. And, well, I think first off, because I don't know either of your cards. I don't know how you scored it. How did you score it, Dan?
I had it 7-5 to Beterbiev.
Taj?
I also had it 7-5 to Beterbiev.
Well, so did I. So this isn't. No, this is going to be a bit of a boring debate, but yeah. 115, 113 Beterbiev. Yeah, but like I don't think any of us would disagree with Bivol maybe sneaking a decision or a draw. It's that type of fight. Would you say that?
Look, 7-5 either way, or 6-6. Perfectly fine with that. If Dmitry Bivol got that decision, I wouldn't have any complaints.
I'm just glad it wasn't a draw because Jesus Christ.
Look, to be honest,
with the debates, it probably should have been, but I'm glad it wasn't.
Look, a draw was probably a fitting result, but that would be very anticlimactic. Waiting that long and a great fight like that just for it to be a draw.
We'll just get a rematch.
Yeah, definitely do it again. Definitely do it again. Even if the belt's splinter, that's the fight to make.
Yeah, the IBF will have Beterbiev
the IBF will
undisputed for 2 minutes. So.
Yeah, the IBF will order Michael Eifert, won't they?
No one's gonna.
No one cares about Michael Eifert against Conor Wallace for that vacant belt. But yeah.
I don't care about that.
Have you got your cards actually? Because I think we should go through them. First 3 I gave to Bivol.
Although I do remember
same.
3 being.
Yep, same.
3 being
Yeah,
close, so.
3 was close. 3 was closer. 4th I gave Beterbiev. Well, 4, 5, 6, 7 I gave Beterbiev.
Same. Oh, Jesus Christ.
We're gonna have the exact same cards. 8, 9 Bivol.
Yep,
Yeah.
and then the last 3.
And then the last one. But this is pointless because we just got the same thing. But yeah, yeah, we're running out of things to talk about here. But yeah, genuinely, it was a fantastic fight.
He just closed it out like.
He
won the championship round. So I thought.
Yeah,
I thought that was
beat up Bivol last 3 rounds.
Well, I remember round 10 being very close. And lots of rounds being close.
There's like 4 swing rounds, 4 or 5 swing rounds. It was like
a few.
3, 7, 10.
There's a few that you're just like, yeah, okay, this person definitely won this round, and then the rest of them just like, well,
especially that 7th round. The 7th round.
Because he hurt Beterbiev.
And kind of
then he ran in. He ran in and got greedy, reckless, and then got hurt himself. And he got
hurt worse.
Yeah, he got hurt worse and got bad for the rest of the round.
Which is why I feel
you know what? You know what Beterbiev did to win this fight? And I'm going to pat myself on the back here. He fought for a full 3 minutes of every single round that he won, and most of the rounds he didn't win, he was having the best of it in the last minute. Yeah, that's what stays in the judge's mind. He fought. He managed to fight for a full 3 minutes every round, where a lot of these rounds that Bivol was losing, he was tailing off quite badly. It was competitive up to about the 2 minute mark. Then the last minute, sort of 45 seconds, it was all Beterbiev.
It was like
in a lot of rounds
on the ropes and like getting to throw his hands a bit more.
And even if Bivol is catching a lot of these shots on his gloves and his arms, if you're shelling up, moving backwards, getting punched on, and you're not throwing anything back. The judge is going to see that, even if they're not technically like scoring shots, they're going to score that sort of exchange to Beterbiev.
Yeah. With the talk too of like the fight, people saying that the fight didn't live up to the hype because it wasn't like a slugfest. I'm like, what? There's no way that you have watched these two fighters and really assumed that it was going to be some trench war. It was never going to be that. It was a great technical fight, and that's exactly what it was.
Two elite operators.
Yeah.
Two elite operators, man. But ultimately, it's if you look at the punch stats. I know it's punch stats, but you can read some stuff from punch stats. I believe anyway. You can't score fights off them, but you can sort of tell the story of a fight in certain instances off them. Beterbiev threw 250 more punches. That's like even if they are landing on gloves and that, like
and they're like moving Bivol. Like their punches that like people claim that Beterbiev has thudding power. He really does. Like he is just physically strong where he could just like push you off, but his punches just like make you bounce across the ring. It's insane.
These are flicking arm shots that are impacting sort of elite fighters quite badly. It's crazy power. It's really crazy.
I do respect Bivol in the ring specifically. Him taking that like and being the first person to like go the distance with the Beterbiev being hurt like multiple times. His heart is insane.
Yeah, because he fought so well. I mean, he fought better than I thought he would.
That jab was
he fought really well.
Yeah. Look, I mean, he had a good game plan. He just slowed down a bit, and I think he moved too much. He wasted a lot of energy.
Yeah, I don't think that seventh round where he did that stupid mistake helped him.
Yeah, because he held
that probably halted what like more of the game plan was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, he held his ground earlier. I mean, he made Beterbiev miss when he was coming in and made him pay for it. I mean, you saw him; he was just taking a little step back and countering him with right hand.
Those combinations,
like he was circling, he was angling out and doing what he should be doing. He wasn't on the ropes. And like Beterbiev, he was just picking away, trying to figure him out. Like he was, like when he was landing shots to the body to break him down. And then when Beterbiev got going, he just started moving so much, and then he stopped jabbing.
But this is the thing, like, is it the risk of being countered? Is it the power? Is it like?
Well,
with him,
is it your stamina? It's everything with Beterbiev. This is the problem with elite fighters.
I think it was mostly the counter because sometimes he does have a lazy jab and he brings it low, and he was countered over the top with a couple right hands. And that's not going to feel too good from Beterbiev. If you take too many of those, you end up on the canvas.
He probably still feels them, truly.
Because, I mean, to be honest, he did better on the front foot when he was actually throwing, because Beterbiev, he doesn't throw a lot when someone's throwing at him.
Yeah.
He does that little Jersey Joe Walcott skip over to the right.
Yeah, he just does a little L step out, reset, L step out, reset, L step out, reset.
Which I seen, it was really slight, but I seen that Bivol had figured out like a game like in part of the game plan before to when he does that like step over, which he does like quite a lot to like hit him, like to like where he's not expecting to be hit when he does that step. He did that a lot in the first half of them, obviously. Yeah, round 7 happened.
Like he really like sat down on a lot of these punches, and I've been saying he does have on the right power, and you can tell. I mean, he hurt Beterbiev. Like when he sits down on these punches, you can hear them.
Yeah,
They're
it's just
thudding.
frustrating.
And they're super fast. And
I mean, it does it makes it worse that he catches Beterbiev coming in because those mistakes. I mean, Bivol's the type of guy who's going to make you pay for them, and he did.
Yeah.
multiple times.
Because I said it's going to be one of those fights where it's really close, and then someone's going to have a good few rounds, then someone's going to adjust, and then the other person's going to adjust, like Fury, Usyk, and it was. I mean, it's not often.
Technical fights this year.
I mean, it's not often when you get these great fights, and like you come out of it just satisfied with everything.
Yeah, but then you see all the people on.
Look,
yeah, the media is disgusting. I don't know how people are like complaining about what happened. That was like one of the best.
Forget the media. I mean, boxing fans always make something out of nothing. I mean, robbery, whatever. If Bivol got that fight, those same people will be saying, "Oh, Beterbiev robbed. He was coming forward the whole fight, 3 more punches."
Look, man, you're expecting the head of Matchroom and all these people that work for Matchroom and DAZN to be like, yeah, Beterbiev definitely won that fight, or Beterbiev deserved that fight, or, you know, it's just not reality.
Screaming robbery. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, because they want the rematch, and obviously they're not
going
to say
it
their fight lost. They're not going to say their fight lost. That's just
they don't have to say. They're saying robbed and masterclass, and it's just disgusting.
Yeah, because it gets people talking, doesn't it?
Yeah, but like they don't even need. It was that great of a fight. They don't even need to do this corny. I just hate it.
Well, like for me, I just was just satisfied with that fight. It was great.
It was a great fight.
Incredible skill level.
Too bad it took forever to happen.
Well, maybe
like in terms of the card, not the like. It took like years for it to happen, for it physically to happen. But I'm talking about like the card.
We'll get onto that soon. But that's it did take ages, but I don't think it would have been as good 4-5 years ago. To be honest, I don't think it would have been as good.
I think
they've had some of their best years, like coming up to this.
Do you think Beterbiev lost a step?
He has to.
I don't.
A small one, maybe.
I don't think he's lost a step. I just think he was fighting Bivol.
And he's Bivol.
To be honest, I just think he was fighting Bivol. I mean, he's 40. I mean, his legs are always going to look a bit. And he's always going to look a bit.
Especially when he's getting surgeries on him. They mentioned that about 50 times on the broadcast.
Yeah, he's always going to look a bit puzzled fighting someone against Bivol because he's so good and it's hard to figure out. That's why it took him like 4 rounds to really get going.
Yeah,
like he was landing punches in the first few rounds. He was investing to the body. Like I don't think he invested to the body enough in the early rounds, but he did
stop them.
He did land quite a few.
Those last few rounds were getting really ropey. Like if he did invest in the body properly in the early rounds, like those last 3. It's if buts and maybes because ultimately Bivol would have adjusted earlier, but those last 3 were rough for Bivol, definitely.
Because in some of the rounds, it was just really like nonchalant. There wasn't really enough urgency from Beterbiev. Like even after the 7th round, I mean, he goes on to lose the next 2 rounds, and he was just kind of like going through those rounds. There wasn't enough urgency for me.
I wonder if he thought he was going to get tired, but he usually doesn't get tired like this.
I mean, he was definitely tired in the 12th round, obviously.
But then he also had Bivol reeling in the 12th too.
Yeah, he did. That's one round that I see a lot of people think Bivol won.
I don't.
I can't see that.
Yeah, Beterbiev won the last 3 pretty clearly for me.
Well, I got to disagree with the 10th round. That was like reasonably close to me. That was I was like, who do
I
I give that
thought
round
11
to?
and 12 like sealed it.
Like 11 as well. They were pretty clear. I mean, Bivol, like he finished the round good with Beterbiev, but Beterbiev also finished the round good, and he also won
Majority of the round.
the majority of the round before that. Before Bivol started working into our round, because it wasn't like Beterbiev won like 2 minutes of the round. Then it was all Bivol in the last half of the last minute of the
No.
round. It wasn't. They were both going at it in the last minute as well.
Yep. It's like genuinely like we've been treated to some really, really good technical fights this year, and that might be the best one of the lot. Not in terms of like a war, but in terms of technical ability, sort of like
The skill level
adjustments,
on
the skill level,
display.
like
It's like Usyk Fury and Beterbiev Bivol are like right at the top for some of the best technical fights. Honestly, ever. Like honestly, it was kind of ridiculous amount of skill.
Yeah, at least in their respective divisions history. I mean, because a
Yeah.
lot of the
there's some Harold Johnson gyms.
a lot of the great light heavyweight fights, they're like
Are the opposite of technical.
they're like grueling. Like I wouldn't say. I mean, they're not like slugfest, but they're grueling like action fights.
Saad Mohammed, Johnson, Yaki Lopez. Like, even with this century, we got like Glenn Johnson and Tarver. That fight was good. Like it's like they
There's
don't.
well, the best
Yeah.
light heavyweight fight of this decade.
Oh, oh yeah.
Well, it's was it? It's
Leo-
either
Leo
Gonzalez
Gonzalez versus Julian
Lelo.
Lelo.
or Cleverly from Farah.
Ooh,
Because those actually Cleverly from Farah, that's a good technical fight actually, but
it's just more I thought of like a.
that was
volume.
just such a high action fight. That was
I
such
think
a high
there's-
pace. They threw so many punches in that
You
fight.
need, when you think about Chocolatito Estrada, they threw Fonfara and Cleverly threw as many punches as them in their second compared to their second fight. Like that's
Yeah. Light heavyweight.
at light heavyweight. So I probably say it's probably those two at the top.
Because I mean, look, give me Beterbiev Bivol over a lower level slugfest any day,
Definitely.
every day,
Definitely.
easily. I'd much rather watch that than a lower level slugfest.
Okay.
Because I saw people saying, "Oh, that they didn't enjoy the fight."
If you didn't enjoy that fight, you don't like boxing.
How? I mean, like, you don't have to have a mindless slugfest to have a good fight.
If you don't like that fight, you might as well just watch UFC, mate. Honestly, because like low level swingers with their chin high, like loading up on hooks every 5 seconds. Like,
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really good.
Yeah.
Speaking of
But
chin, one thing that Bivol did, he always had his chin tucked. I mean, that was right down.
That
sitting
saved
right
him
there.
from being knocked out.
Because
that saved them.
he took a lot of these shots like on the face. That's why
Like on
you see
the
all his like
forehead.
cheek and his
Yeah,
eye. They were
and
all
his
like
eye, yeah.
swollen. Yeah, and he always had his chin tucked.
Yeah, his whole left
Like,
side
right
was
now.
kind of messed up.
Like I don't know if that was conscious, but it worked.
It
Like,
probably
he was
was with how skilled he was.
What a fight, man! What a fight! Like I'm struggling to like give good analysis here. With some might say I don't anyway, but I'm still sort of like I'm still sort of processing it. If anything, like it was a brilliant fight, you know.
It's like with like a Crawford Spence and Usyk Fury, you like sit there and like there's no way that these two fighters are like in the ring right now, and they're like
Yeah.
about to fight. Like this is like we're not talking about it on Twitter, we're not debating it, we're not having a fantasy fight off. They're about to fight, and they fought, and it was great.
It was brilliant, man. It was genuinely brilliant. Can I just say one thing as well? If you're saying Artur Beterbiev did not win this fight, I'm fine with that. Yeah, score it for Bivol 7-5, whatever. That's fair. But if you're saying the reason Beterbiev didn't win this fight was because Mark Ramsey told him to go and knock Bivol out, you are an idiot.
He probably went and told him after round 1 of Joe Smith, go knock him out. Like, what are you talking about?
And you know what? That motivated Beterbiev, and you know what Beterbiev did? He went and won the next 2 rounds, which ultimately won him the fight.
You know, we've seen loads of fights where it's like close going into the championship rounds, and they say, "Yeah, stick it on him, go knock him out." Like, 'cause you never know how someone's scoring it. Even if you win the next 2 rounds, you might already be too far down. You can't win.
You're still losing, but you do it just in case.
Yeah,
Like, that's the point. These are the championship rounds. You've got to finish strong.
look at Haney against Lomachenko. Everyone crucified Lomachenko because he took the 12 off because he thought he was winning.
And I think it would have been a draw.
Whatever you want to say, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been a draw. It was 115, 113 twice, wasn't it? But
Yeah.
Look, the biggest example of this is Oscar De La Hoya versus Felix Trinidad. He was way ahead. I mean, look, he won regardless. He should have won regardless, but he took off the last 3 rounds because he
Just
thought
moving.
like I
Not
think his corner
touching
told
the
him to play it safe, so he just ran around the ring instead of carrying on doing what he was doing, and he lost probably the biggest fight of his career. Well, not biggest. I mean, the Mayweather fight was bigger, but
One of them.
like legacy wise, to become the undisputed champion, not undisputed.
But yeah.
Fight.
You have to
Just-
fight those rounds.
a
And he nearly finished it in those rounds.
lot of people get way too emotional with big fights, I think.
A lot of people are too opinionated and like to talk for them. I just don't understand why boxing fans, we just like to create controversy when there is no controversy. Right? Can't it just be as simple as, yeah, great fight. Could have gone either way. Well done to Beterbiev, who got it. That was a great fight. Let's get a rematch. And
Well done
see
to
how that
Bivol as
goes.
well, because Bivol performed well.
And, you know, well done to Bivol. It takes two people to have a great fight. And he was half of that.
Yeah,
Speaking of the rematch, I mean,
I don't know who wins.
I feel like
Yeah.
I just feel like Beterbiev has more room for improvement in the rematch. Like, I think he could do more.
Because of those eighth and ninth rounds.
I'd agree.
I think he can start faster. Like, he doesn't have to do crazy, but throw some more punches in the first few rounds and target mostly the body, because Bivol is a great defensive fighter, and it's not easy to hit him.
So the rounds that Beterbiev lost are more of him not doing as much as Bivol, and then the rounds that Bivol lost, he clearly lost, and most of them he was getting like hit like a lot, like 7, 10, 11, 12. He was getting hit like hard.
You know what makes me question that though? His age.
Yeah, I guess.
Can he do that at 40?
Well,
it's going to be another year, isn't it?
Yeah,
Before this rematch happens.
he has no choice.
His birthday's in January. He'll be 40.
Well,
Yeah, it's going to be another year.
I reckon they'll probably fight in like February or March time. That's my guess. Actually, well, we're in October. Maybe not February, March. Maybe like April, May.
Yeah, but Beterbiev has a mandatory injury, doesn't he? So.
Look.
So push that 2 more months.
Yeah.
Look, he won't get an injury this time. I'm basing that on absolutely nothing. More hope than logic. Logic tells you he's going to get an injury.
They need to go get another venue 2 months after the actual date of the next fight to make sure that they lock it in.
Man,
he's unlucky. Crazy to think that he's 40 years old and he only has 20 fights or 21 fights. But
he turned over late. He turned over when he was 28, didn't he?
Yeah.
No, but
turned around on, yeah.
he'd have like a cool side, like 4 or 5 more fights at least.
And he would have had more fights if he didn't have the promotional dispute with
Yeah, even Michelle.
YGM, GYM. One of the two.
And it's
YGM.
sort of different when you're straight into 12 rounders and that, like really early on in your career.
Yeah, because he was
Fighting Tavor's
like
Cloud in your fifth
Tavor's
fight.
Cloud.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But this is the thing, you know. We can all talk about Beterbiev's career. That's the point that stalled his career. That was the worst thing to happen to him. Because he doesn't do that to Tavor's Cloud, he probably gets the title shot earlier.
Yeah.
Like,
He just got like a cool little 8-2 distance fight, or it was like 10 or 12 rounder, but like a clear
or like a
easy-
9th round TKO where they pull him out because of like nose damage or something. But no, he runs him over in a couple of rounds. Dropped him 4 times in 4 minutes, and then yeah, we're not fighting you for years.
You look like a killer, so
Yeah.
we're out of here.
But yeah,
I don't blame him. 'Cause he's still like that.
Yeah, cause, anyway, getting back to the rematch, it's not that Bivol doesn't have room for improvement. He definitely does. I mean, no one fights a perfect fight. Everyone has room for improvement.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying he fought the best fight that he could have, but he fought very close to the best fight because like we was asking, can he go up the gears? And then I said maybe he needs another great fight to bring out of him, and I guess he did because it was brought out of him.
he went up the gears, but
Yeah, he went up.
he ultimately didn't have the gears to win the fight, in my opinion. Beterbiev had the extra gears in that
Like we
fight.
talk about in the preview, does he have enough to match it?
Well,
in my opinion,
maybe because he could have won the fight.
he could have, but I don't think he did. So like,
I think he had enough gears. It was just unfortunate that the judges preferred Beterbiev in a few rounds.
Fantastic fight. I hope they do a rematch.
they have to.
I hope they do a rematch and then possibly a trilogy and then retire.
Or they get
Or Beterbiev retires, but
I was
not
gonna say,
Bivol.
Bivol's
Yeah.
still like
33, he's fine.
he's not super young, but he's not like he's like this is he has like a little bit later prime.
Yeah. Well, Bivol's he's young and he's pretty fresh too. I mean, obviously he just come off of Beterbiev, so he's less fresh, but he's
Yeah, he doesn't have
Still
super
fresh.
long amount of.
Or
fight
then
too.
again, he's going to come off another Beterbiev fight.
He will be fresh.
This is another thing for the rematch, by the way. How much does 12 rounds with Beterbiev take out of you?
Yeah, see, because
I don't know. No
Exactly.
One's done it.
I hope
No
I
one's
hope
ever
not
done it
too much,
before.
too.
Probably. I don't know.
We gotta ask Enrico Cooling, bro. we gotta talk.
Well, he didn't even
He didn't make it, but
12 rounds. I mean, he made
Almost.
11 and nearly 12. Almost.
Man, this rematch is going to be good.
You know, did you actually, speaking of the punch lights, did you see the TNT? They got their punch lights now, yeah.
Jabber, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
Which
they
is
are
different to
they are
CompuBox.
both, they're so different to CompuBox's stats. They are so different.
Yeah.
How many punches? Let me get up.
Over 1,000 Beterbiev
like
for
1,000.
apparently.
It was
32.
over 1,000 I saw on there, and
Yeah.
it was like, was it 600 or something
600.
on CompuBox? Because they had him overall, they had him landing one more punch than Bivol, which was, I think it was like 171 to 170, and on a CompuBox it was like 141, 138 in
This is
Bivol's
the
favor.
thing. This is the thing. I don't know how you can tell how many punches are landed when there's literally millimeters between the glove and the head, or the arm and the body.
With how great
Because look, a lot of those
like-
punches that they threw, they were landing on the arms. Even Bivol's punches, because I thought
Yeah.
Bivol landed the more eye-catching, clear
Crispy.
shots in the fight. But even a lot of his, like if you see like the ringside clips or slow motion clips, you can see a lot of them. They're landing on the gloves from both fighters.
Yep, and how this is getting into really like the pretty irrelevant like stuff. But how do you score a punch that lands on the shoulder first, then carries through to the head?
Like a body or a headshot, or nothing or a headshot.
Guess it depends.
This is what I mean.
How
It's
clean.
like how clean. It's.
That's why you people like look at the punch stats as an argument. You can't do that.
Yeah.
No,
Like I said earlier, you can take something from it, especially punches thrown. In my opinion, you can take something.
Punches
from that.
thrown is the most reliable part of it.
Yeah, but
yeah, that's the only part.
Because you can just watch their arms move and just tell what a punch is, and most of what they're throwing is going to be a punch.
Yeah, combi box is a nice tool to have, and it's nice to look at. Doesn't tell
it's not definitive. Yeah,
doesn't tell you how to score a fight.
It's an estimate.
Yeah, it's how those punches split. Even the separate rounds don't tell you anything.
Yeah,
because well, one, did they even land that much, or did they land more? Because it's not accurate. Because that discrepancy of those two separate,
they cannot be that.
I mean, I just don't. How can they be that different?
it's.
Oh yeah, speaking of
Nice.
that, the zone commentary, not very good.
I switched off the main event, thankfully.
I hear the TNT commentary wasn't very good either. I don't know about ESPN.
The top rank, it wasn't that good either. It just was not good. It's like the commentary from everybody is not good. I do hope Top Rank at some point post a full fight with the no commentary like they've been doing recently. Because
I don't think they'll do that.
I prefer that because,
well, at least not for a while.
Tim Bradley, man. Yeah, you cannot keep commentating. You can't.
You know when it's really, really bad. When the voice of reason for this fight, on the zone broadcast at least, was Chris Mannix.
It should never be like that. I was watching the zone commentary up until the main event, and it's just Todd
Grisham, Darren Barker, Andy Lee or Barry Jones, or was it all of them?
I think it was all of them.
Yeah, and then Chris Mannix popped in with his scorecard here and there. Which I mean, it wasn't actually. It was about. Wasn't about
Chris was.
To be honest,
Chris is all right. Like he was worse back in the early 2020s.
Look, I think we just all respect him more now that he's he's so sharp.
All right. No, but
I just want to the commentary, man. The amount of basic errors that are facts they get wrong.
Oh yeah, I know what you're about to say.
Yeah,
like you can have your opinions on boxing, whatever. But the fact Eubanks never fought for a world title, wrong. Fought Groves. Okole's the Bridgeweight champion, wrong. Like the amount of things that they consistently get wrong on a regular basis, every single card is ridiculous. That are factual. These aren't debatable. These are things that are facts that you're getting wrong. You're just unprofessional and don't do your research.
It's just like the Hall of Fame. They don't look at anything. They just like look at the name and like look at the decade they fought in. They're like, all right, it's good enough. Put them on there. You need to do any little bit of research, and you'll get the right sentence you want to say for the little segment. You can't say Chris Eubanks never been in a world title fight. You can't do that because it happened. It's documented.
And
it happened. Like,
yeah, I mean, semi-final of the World Boxing Super Series. George Groves broke his
I know they remember. I know they remember George Groves' shoulder hanging out,
dislocating his shoulder in the 12th round. Yeah.
Do they though? Do they though? Or do they just watch American boxing?
Look, Darren Barker, Andy Lee, and Barry Jones. Well, Barry Jones called him out. Barry called him out on it. So shout out to Barry for that.
I was saying he's second
because they remember
Chris
it.
and Barry were the only people.
Look, I like Barry Jones. Barry Jones knows what we're talking about.
He's okay, but he does get a lot wrong.
Well, when you talk as much as he does, you're bound to get something wrong.
Yeah. But
he's alright.
he's one of the better ones. I agree. But
That is crazy that Chris Mannix
Barker's an idiot.
commentator of the day.
Darren Barker's an idiot. Like, I'm so glad they got rid of Chris Lloyd because he might have been the worst of the lot.
No one's worse than Todd Grisham. I can't.
No, Chris Lloyd.
No.
Yeah,
Chris Lloyd was saying Jordan Thompson punches harder than Wilder.
I'm glad I don't even remember that, but
he was saying Jordan Thompson's winning world title.
I remember Todd Grisham because I hear him on all these cards, and I can't bear it. He's the worst commentator I've heard in this decade.
Oh man, Chris Lloyd. Chris Lloyd has a special place of hatred inside of me. I just no. But should we talk about I would say talk about the Chief support now because I'm pretty sure we're done on that, aren't we? Fantastic fight. Well, like we can do it to death. We could be here for like hours and hours and hours talking about that fight, and we'll probably reference it again at some point.
It's sketched into light heavyweight history. They're the first undisputed champion at the division since Roy Jones in like 03, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those fights that you can watch back over and over again.
It's like Tony McCallum with like you show like a young casual here.
I think it was 99 for Roy Jones, by the way.
I think that's when he won it, but I'm like when he lost it is when when the belts started like.
Didn't he? No, he vacated the IBF, didn't he?
His belt's his belt's fragmented a lot. He's like a 4-time WBC champion of that.
Yeah, like who knows? Who knows, man?
He was stripped and reinstated, and he's a 4-time WBC champion. He's a 2-time WBA. It's
stupid.
I'm trying to see so I confirm that he was last undisputed in November of 2002.
Fair enough.
So it's been 22 years, almost 22 years.
Who did he fight? Clinton Woods, wasn't it?
Yeah, Clinton Woods.
IBF, yeah.
Clinton Woods with Big Ron. Big Ron took him over to America. Can I just say, I just mentioned Jordan Thompson. Jordan Thompson, you are an idiot for saying Edgar Berlanga beats Beterbiev. Edgar Berlanga beats Beterbiev. You're saying, oh yeah, idiots, man. All these people just don't understand boxing. It's crazy the amount of boxers that don't actually understand the sport. But anyway,
look, can you trust someone who gets punched in the head for a living to give you a logical opinion?
Nope.
But anyway,
really did a job on him. Clearly, he hasn't fought since that fight. Can't understand why. Must have brain damage.
All right.
Let's talk about the 17 million fucking hour wait between the Chief support and the main event. Stop that, Turkey, because we don't want it. We don't care that you're giving away a car, especially to women that couldn't even drive in Saudi Arabia until 2018. We don't care. Yeah. So just stop. Stop doing this. I don't want to be watching it. I don't want to be watching a load of shot to pieces sort of pop stars from a sort of late 90s and early 2000s that I haven't thought about in about 15 years. Yeah, I don't want to be watching that when I'm thinking about Beterbiev Bivol.
It's not even like
nobody does.
It's not the concert didn't even happen right after Wardley Clark. There was
they waited
40 minutes after that fight, and then they did the concert, and then another wait. Like, come on, bro.
They genuinely waited an hour. Wardley Clark finished at like 9:30, and then the concert started at 10:30.
Like, sure, if there shouldn't be a concert anyway. If there was going to be a little bit of wait because the fight lasted 2 minutes, then okay. But what are we doing?
Look, that fight should have started no later than 10 p.m. in the UK time.
Yeah, but
I was just here in my time.
Like, sure, if you want to have it a little bit later because of the Americans, 10:30. Or start the card later so we don't have to have all this stuff. Look, he's just out of touch. I mean, the boxing fans, we're paying for boxing. We're not paying to watch
Missy Elliott.
Missy
Are
Elliott.
we?
They got some good songs from 20 years ago. But I don't
Speak
hear
for
it.
yourself, mate. I ain't paying.
Right. Well, we tune in to watch the boxing. However you
There you go.
tune in, whatever you use to tune in, if you pay or you stream or
Watch the stream. People
You
probably wanted a refund on that stream.
if you stand outside someone's house and look in their window and watch the fights. However, we tune in for the boxing, not to watch a giveaway card that's probably fixed who you think is going to win it, or who you pick's going to win it, and a concert between 3 people. We just don't care.
You know what? You know what I want. I want them to get some good acts if
Turkey,
they're
we'll
going to
give
do
it
it. If they're going to do it, get some relevant people in, get some good people in.
Look, Liam Gallagher, I mean,
Shot to bits.
look, that one was fine because it only lasted like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, I was like, that
And-
didn't feel that long. But I feel like
and,
that one yesterday-
That fight actually started at an early time rather than 11 o'clock.
Yeah, that's only because Wembley, like Brent Council, are the like.
Yes,
curfew.
they have a curfew for 11 p.m., but it still started at that time. But anyway,
We need
enough
we need
about
to do better. Get me some Zara Larson or someone
Turkey has been good in
or
spots.
Brina. Get me Brina.
Turkey's been
Look.
good in spots for this boxing, but man,
the only good he does is post fights on YouTube very quickly and actually make the fights because a lot of these fights wouldn't happen without him.
Yeah.
Other than that, goodbye.
All right. Let's talk. Let's go back to the boxing. Fabio Wardley caved Fraser Clark's head in. Literally.
like that. We're not
He
trolling.
literally
Like,
did. Oh yeah, he had his minor
Operation,
surgery
and apparently that's gone well.
cheekbone. Yeah,
fractured
so-
jaw and cheekbone. He's kind of insane.
I mean that's got to be tough. Imagine,
Like I know Wardley can punch, but Jesus Christ.
This is what I mean. When I
Someone's
say
no amateur experience too. Like that, I think you're probably about to mention that amateur experience.
yeah, just because you get lucky through disqualifications at the Olympics to get a medal doesn't mean you're any good. This man was behind Joe Joyce, Anthony Joshua for years on GB. He was behind Dubois. If guys like Dubois, Huey Fury, guys like Huey Fury, by the way, I'm keeping him there. Like all these guys, these British heavyweights, if they chose to stay on the GB system, Fraser Clark would be a nobody. He hung around Sheffield for 15 odd years, getting beat up by Joyce and Joshua every day until they went, fluked his way to an Olympic medal, got a ridiculously lucrative pro deal from an idiot promoter who doesn't know what he's doing. Then his first real fight gets a gift draw and then gets his head caved in the rematch. Horrible fighter. Doesn't train. 270 pounds. 270 pounds, bro.
You know, I remember him saying in the media work. I'm pretty sure he said he was trimmer as well. So I expected him to be trimmer, and then they said 270 pounds.
He was heavier, but he did like his arms looked like insane. Like, he looked like stronger, but it didn't do anything.
You know when Tyson Fury said about Pulev?
Yeah.
Big, stiff, stupid European fighter stands in the ring like that there with his arms out, standing in front of a man that can knock a wall down. A bum. That's what Fraser Clark is.
Well, look, I mean, he fought well in the first fight. That's fair enough. And you know, he got caught.
He did give us one of the best fights of the year.
He did. He just got caught by a massive puncher, and that last punch was so clean as well.
I wonder if he remembers any of that, like anything that happened.
Look, I don't think he remembered anything from that first punch that hurt him to, I don't know, maybe in the hospital, because he didn't look like he knew where he was.
He's seen his face contort.
Yeah, like,
Do you think he remembers saying that Wardy was no good because he didn't have amateur fights, and he can't go around telling kids to take up amateur boxing.
Warley's an anomaly with that because that's
probably
crazy.
does, yeah. Probably can't stop thinking about it now.
Because how many fights has he had? Even as he's had like what 13, 14 fights.
He's 18 and 0-1,
yeah,
so 19.
I thought he had less than that, but still 20 fights.
Yeah.
Period.
He's not a top 10 heavyweight, but he's
nowhere near.
I reckon I'd have him in like the 20 to 15 range.
He's a domestic level slugger that can punch a bit. I don't like.
Well, that's good enough.
Yeah,
against a lot of fighters. I mean, it won't be good enough against the top guys.
I know you hate the Brits, man, but a lot of these divisions are like top heavy with the talent, so it's like kind of.
I mean, well, actually,
give and go.
Heavyweights.
Where would you rate Kevin Lorena?
Is he even
nowhere? Because he's not a heavyweight.
He's a bridgerweight, man. Like
his last fight was a heavyweight.
He'd be around the same, or like lower.
Where do you rate Shakoshkai, the European champion? Because I'd pick him to brutally stop Fabio Wardley.
I don't.
Nowhere, because we've never seen him fight.
We don't know these Uzbek Kazakhs.
He's a Ukrainian. Uzbeks and Kazakhs can't win the EBU.
I didn't even hear what you said.
They're Asians, Rose.
I apologize.
I pick Lene Perro to beat him. I pick both Perro brothers to beat him. Both Perro brothers beat him. I don't rate Fabio Wardley. I don't rate someone that's getting their face sliced open by Nathan Gorman. I'm sorry. Like he is what he is. Yeah, he can punch. He's very crude, and he's a decent domestic level fighter. There's nothing wrong with that. But let's stop this talk of world titles because he's going to get badly hurt.
Let's see him fight another good fighter because he's
fight. I'll tell you who he's
closed the chapter. He's closed the chapter on Fraser Clark. Let's see who the next.
He should go fight Derek Chisora.
That's a good one.
He should go fight Joe Joyce. He should fight Hughie Fury.
I don't know how long that fight lasts.
He should go fight Solomon Dakers. Go fight because we said before. Brits love a good heavyweight bum off, don't they? You can go do that and make a load of money. Go do that, Fabio, because you're not doing anything. And if you get poleaxed by someone that's actually quite good, your career's done.
I don't think you like.
Actually, it's not done because we love a loser as well, don't we?
I don't think you. I don't think you like the country you were born in.
Oh. No, I'm just being honest though. Fabio Wardley, like he's not good.
Anything good about a British fighter?
He's not good, man. I don't know. Maybe because I'm in the bubble, I'm constantly being told that every British fighter is a world beater. That it just annoys me.
There's some good ones, but they don't ever let them develop to actually see. They just chuck them in because they think them fighting.
They do journeyman. Then world class killer.
I was like, then great fighter, and they're like, oh.
Then they get iced, and then they're like done.
And they wonder why they got iced.
They need to have proper steps, but most of these British fighters are like only fighting the like nondescript losing record Hungarians in your call, and then going up to like three steps too high.
Oh, but by the way, my theory about the GB amateur setup, I want to bring this up. The last three, the not excluding Delicious Ori, who's another big stiff idiot. The last three GB heavyweights that have gone to the Olympics and medalled have been spanked in the last like 3 or 4 months.
Well,
Joe Joyce dropped by Chisora, Anthony Joshua levered by Dubois, Fabio Wardley knocking out Fraser Clark in a round.
Joshua should have won gold as well.
Yeah, but Joshua shouldn't have, so,
Yeah, he should.
Is what it is.
He lost he lost way before the final as well to Felix Savon.
He should have won the Worlds, though, in 11, but that's a separate debate.
Like the final, yeah, sure.
We're just learning that. I hate, like, you're supposed to be an amateur fighter. Like, you need to have that to like get the feel of it and like develop, obviously. But people bring up amateur accolades, especially when if they're even if they're like Olympians, you can't bring that up when they're in the profession. It's not the same. It's not the same sport. Like they're
You know
doing the
what I
same
mean?
thing. It's not the same sport.
There's some correlation. Don't get me wrong. There definitely is. But you need transitional periods. Not everyone's a Lomachenko where you can just throw them right in. You need to transition properly, and you need to have a certain amateur style. Like Lewis Richardson's a prime example of this. I don't know if you've seen him, Sarge. Won bronze for Britain in Paris.
No.
If he turned pro, he would be getting knocked out at English level because of the way he fights. He's chin in the air, hands out, all this stuff. He would make a terrible pro, but he can sneak decisions in amateur boxing. Someone like Imam Katayev, or even the guy he lost to, Aishish, Lewis Richardson beat Aishish, but Aishish won that fight in my opinion. Aishish would make a far better pro because he's got the style for it. You can take some stuff from amateur boxing, but especially when you're turning multi-time national champions, Taj, in Britain.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that means? You'll probably win a British title.
Nice.
When they mention multi-time national champions, firstly, hardly any of these titles are the ABAs, so they're not really national titles anyway. Secondly, it means you're the best in Britain. But anyway, and let's talk about Jai Patai. He's an amateur. Jai Patai is an amateur that was a good amateur that's turned pro and done well. Brutalizing Jack Massey. Let's talk about that. Very good performance.
Face support.
Very good performance, in my opinion.
Man. Like in hindsight, I wish I picked it.
Look,
knockout.
Look, I think we put too much stock in him not stopping Bradis, which there is nothing wrong with that. No one's going to stop.
He would ever stop Bradis. Bradis has one of the best.
Then we was like, oh, look, if you're not like tough, like crazy tough, like Marcus Bradis is, like, not many people would stop Marcus
Just
Bradis.
how he performed in the later stages of the fight.
Yeah, but that's fine.
But then he didn't even let it get there.
Look,
this fight, it probably shouldn't even made it to the 6th round. That's how bad he beat.
Look, if you're not like world level around that or crazy tough, he's gonna stop you.
You have to be
like he's too good because he is very skilled.
You literally have to be Give or Zerto or Chris Jones.
Look,
to contest that
because he's just good. Like he's just good. He's just good.
Another we were talking about Cleverly and Fonfara being like big but fast fight. Like Opatai is fast as hell for being a 200 plus.
Because I was looking the other day, he's gone the distance 3 times since 2016. And 2 of them were Raiders. One of them was in 2016 to a guy who's only ever been stopped once. He stopped everyone else.
Yep.
I wonder what is.
I still think Ben Smith beats him.
I don't.
I'm gonna whisper that. But I still think Ben Smith.
You screamed it out.
We're gonna talk about how we.
Yeah, but I'm whispering it now.
we both. If me and Dan pick one person, you pick the other person. I swear to God. On that one,
that's not happening. On that one, that's not happening.
Oh man,
it's not gonna happen because Jai Opatai is gonna run off to heavyweight. But yeah, like I said, like I said in the preview, he should have fought Hussein Sin Cara. Same result, innit? Like, get your mandatory out of the way. Then you might actually be able to fight the winner instead of saying, "No, I've got another mandatory that I'm gonna have to take." Instead of fighting the real cruiserweight king, the gentle Mong, Chris Benham Smith.
That's in November.
He can do this. He can fight this mandatory in like December. Then they'll be ready to go.
I was like, he needs to do.
Yeah, but it's the camps, mate. It's the camps. Like the last year, sort of 2023 to 2024. He had a long camp for React War that didn't end up happening. Straight into a camp for Thompson, straight into a camp for Zorro, straight into a camp for Breedis, and then that camp his calf went. Because he pulled out of that February fight. No, like hardly anyone like acknowledges that. His calf was injured. He pulled out of that February fight, and he just didn't tell anyone. And then they pulled the whole card. Like Opataya, it's not just Opataya, but your body can't hold up to constant camp after camp after camp. It just can't. At the elite level, it just can't hold up. These guys need a few weeks off, especially when they're tight at the weight. Like I think Oppenheimer is.
Well, he can get a few. He can have. Actually, I was gonna say give him Christmas off. Oh well, he can have Christmas off, and then fight in February. Look, it'll happen next year anyway.
And Crispin and Smith is gonna win. What else was on this card? You know, it's a good fight when I just completely forget what else is on the card below this.
Yeah. Like I'm not gonna lie, the card was kind of like disappointing.
The next fight is Chris Eubank.
Oh yeah, Chris Eubank, Karen was there a matter.
He
Can I get a 5-time for Chris Eubank Jr.?
He did look good though. But
He looked good.
again, in hindsight, I should have picked the knockout because their meta, he's taken a hellacious amount of punches over the years from like 2 pretty hard punches and one of the hardest punches like ever.
I said on the preview that he would stop him.
I just didn't trust in him. Like he's probably gonna do a little showboat, have a little, just troll.
Yeah, but even if he does that, yeah. But the thing is, when he was doing all that stuff, he was being trained by Roy Jones. He was doing his Roy Jones impression.
I know, but I didn't trust him.
Yeah, but he has been like that, like for his entire career.
Has, but he when he was doing that before he was trained by Roy Jones, he was at least letting his hands go a lot more. Because he obviously he's a flashy, braggadocious guy like his dad.
I thought his jab was really good last night.
It was. I mean, I don't really think he did much wrong. I mean, I think it would have ended earlier if he didn't get cut.
Yeah.
So it would have been, what was it, round 6?
Round 7.
7. It would have been like 4 or 5.
He got cut in like round 3, I think. It was like
he dropped him like in the first minute.
Yeah, he dropped him in the first round.
It was a good performance.
And they're gonna do the Ben fight, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
I was like, it might get pushed back a little because that cut. But
yeah, that probably suits Ben, doesn't it? Get his case out of the way because that's still not done.
Yeah, he still can't fight. In
there's hearings going on at the minute for that, and like, what will happen is they'll give him a 2-year backdated ban from the first test, and he'll be free to fight. And they'll do that fight either in England or in Saudi in sort of February, March, I think.
For the money, they better make that in England.
Well, this is the issue. If Turkey wants it, he can pay for it. So,
well, you could make a show there. I feel like you've seen. I feel like the Beterbiev Bivol fight wasn't appreciated or promoted as much as I feel like it should have been, because you've seen the crowd, it wasn't full.
Yeah, cause I didn't look at the crowd in the main event, but when they did the
car
giveaway, there was no one in the crowd.
Yeah,
that was only
that was after the co-main event.
So I'm assuming.
I don't know how many more. Obviously, lots. If you go to a fight, lots of people aren't there for the co-main event, and then lots of people pop up for the main event. But
I assume a good amount of people popped up for the concert.
I highly doubt loads of people to make it even look remotely full.
Yeah, that shouldn't
turned up after that.
I feel like they should have promoted this card better, the fight specifically better.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Hiding stuff from the zone isn't a good idea, in my opinion. But that's another story for another day. But yeah, they'll do the Ben fight, and it'll be massive, and people won't like it, and people will hate on it. But the reality is that fight is massive.
And I'll hate on it, and I'll call it terrible.
But you'll
watch it.
I will be there.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
I will be there.
Yeah.
Although, look, that's mostly because I watch everything.
Yeah, but the casual market in the UK will eat that up, because the casual market in the UK is stupid.
Yeah.
They love those names, man. You making Ben or somebody? Your
Like
greatest
if
fighter.
their household, they're not great fighters. You don't never want a world title. Let's pause. They didn't want anything to do with the elite Americans around that era. But let's talk about that another day.
Ben did.
Offended.
Ben did.
Yeah, one of them. But they were happy passing this crap WBO belt around between them, you know, and claiming that they were real world champions when they weren't. That's another story. Ben Whittaker, Liam Cameron. My God, Ben Whittaker is bad.
He finally got like a real opponent, and he didn't look good at all.
I mean this with the greatest respect to Liam Cameron. He was not a real opponent.
18
realer
months
than
ago, the other ones.
18 months ago, Liam Cameron was a homeless drug addict. I mean it. I like Liam Cameron. I think he's had a lot of bad things happen to him in his career. I genuinely do like wish him well, and I hope he gets another payday out of this. But
Yeah, because
he's a middleweight that fell off the rails.
Yeah, he mentioned it loads of times. All the stuff that's happened to him in the last 18 months.
Oh, it's horrible. And that's down to the board and like all of their antics and their disgraceful drug testing policies. And the two-tier sort of drug testing policies and bans that they hand out. It's ridiculous. But at the end of the day, Liam Cameron was a domestic level sort of middleweight.
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
He's not a good opponent. But I did say I like the fight. It's a step up. But if Ben Whittaker was any good, should have been easily winning that fight. And he wasn't.
He lost it. He
lost. I had him losing. I had him losing the fight. And he should have lost the fight. He's lucky one judge, for whatever reason, gave an even round. Somewhere in there. For that to be a draw. Otherwise, he's losing.
He took an easy way out as well.
Yeah.
He pulled himself and Liam Cameron over the thing, and then went out in a wheelchair and started smashing up the dressing room backstage. Are you serious?
Yeah. They showed.
Punch your opponent. Don't punch up your dressing room, mate. Your opponent's there to be punched.
Look, because he
went
over. Like he went over. Someone posted a video of it under my tweet, and it did look like he just did that on purpose. And he went over. Then he came back holding his ankle, and you saw on the replay. I mean, his ankle didn't even hit anything.
It was just dangled over the apron.
Like it was, if anything, his ankle was saved by a person who tried to catch him.
I used to complain about the tattooed leg, which was the one that like slung over on the right side that didn't get touched by anybody.
Yeah, because at the start, when they first went over, he looked like he was fine, and Liam Cameron looked like something might be wrong with him. But then Liam Cameron got up, and then he just stayed down. It was like,
of course, it was like a rough little tumble, but like
I'm gonna take. I don't want to fight the upper 5 rounds. I'm gonna take the easy way out against a fight that is getting worse and worse. Because it was getting worse and worse.
He was starting to lose.
Because he won the first 2 rounds, then he lost the next 3, and
he was getting hit by like a lot of right hands.
He was going to get stopped. He was going to get stopped.
I mean, he was fading a lot. He might have got stopped.
Another amateur fighter.
He is a big dude, but like I don't trust him. It's like
he's not a puncher. Ben Whittaker is not a puncher.
He's not a good puncher. He's not a great hard
He's
puncher.
Fragile. He's very fragile. I had this conversation years ago, like before the Olympics. The kid's always injured. Like after every tournament, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, my shoulders hurt, or my legs hurt, and I've been fighting with an injury, and yeah, I'm gonna have surgery on it." He had like a year out the ring in his after his first 2 fights because he has a shoulder injury. He's fragile. The kid is fragile. You can have all this flashy skill in the world, but he can't punch. He's fragile. He can't fight on the inside. Like, oh man, this guy is not it. This guy's not him.
I like hate. I don't. I was about to say I wouldn't say hated, but I did kind of really despise despise Whitaker after the Olympics because of how he acted when he lost the final.
If you didn't hate him, I'd like to see what you say
What
about
hate
people
is.
that you do hate.
Yeah, no.
I don't hate him.
Look,
I
the
hate how he
second he
fights. I
put
just really hate how he fights and how he acts. It's just not.
the second he put that medal in his pocket, it's just been Taj Rose against Ben Whitaker.
Yeah, but I don't respect that. But I was trying to respect him as a professional fighter. I was like, okay, he's a big, lanky, light heavyweight, but then he's just like he's the way he fights. He showed both of the time. He like most British fighters, you kind of just try to be an overly flashy Nassim Hamid like wannabe, and it's just not fun to watch. I don't like it.
Who's that Pakistani flyweight good?
What are we talking about?
No, there was some Pakistani British flyweight kid that would try to be Naz.
Oh, I know you're talking. I forgot his name.
Yeah, and he got ice bad, like badly. I was like, yeah, that's coming for Ben Whitaker.
Oh yeah.
Like most lanky light heavyweights, they always end up getting ice, don't they, Sarge?
What's someone called?
What are we talking about?
You know who I'm talking about. Most lanky fighters.
I don't. Lanky light heavyweight. Who are we thinking? Matthew Saad Muhammad?
Those guys that go up
Said
in
lanky
weights.
light heavyweight. I didn't hear anything else.
At least Ben Whitaker's not boiling himself down to, you know.
Alrighty.
Just, yeah, 6'3" welterweight.
Yeah.
All right, we got it.
Yeah. But yeah, Whitaker's not him, and I'm glad Cameron's got to deal with Queensbury now. I don't know if I meant to say that, but he has. Queensbury assigned him after last night, and I genuinely hope like he gets some good paydays and some good opportunities because he's just been treated horrifically by the governing bodies in this country. Horrifically.
Give him good fights. Even if he loses, don't just terminate his contract like a lot of fighters do. Just keep getting him fights because he will turn up and he will try.
He's an action fighter. He's a good action fighter at domestic level, and you can fill cards with that.
They won't give him a
let's say like Frank wants to stick him in with one of his prospects at light heavyweight. Does he even have any? I don't have a clue.
Tell you what, a good fight is.
Yeah.
Woody Hutchinson comeback fight.
Yeah, I mean, he will test these guys. And it will answer a lot of questions about his prospects.
Talker's the matchmaker.
Yep, this is all his. No.
Yeah, you got. I'm logging into the box right now. Who's at 175? Woody Hutchinson's there.
No, I think that was the best one. That was the most realistic one, really.
Well, that seems fine.
Ezra Taylor?
Yeah, that
Ezra Taylor?
Well.
Yeah. He's fighting in a couple of weeks.
He'll test these prospects, answer a lot of questions about these guys.
And they'll be in good fights as well. He's a fun fighter to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that will change his life.
I hope he gets another Saudi payday though, because these Saudi paydays are ridiculous. And if you can get enough one of those, and he's smart with it, he can set himself up. And I hope he gets that.
Another one of these cards against. But Woody Hutchinson's he's already fought in Saudi. Fight him in Saudi again, and get a good payday.
Yep.
It was what boxing changes people's lives. Let it do its job.
But yeah, what week? I think that's all. We've covered it all, haven't we?
Yeah, the whole card. We got the Nakatani card in about how many hours? Like 12 to 14 hours ish.
12 hours.
Yeah. And we'll have another show out for all the Japanese action this week. as well. Probably a preview for some of the shows at the weekend. There's a couple of world title fights this weekend. There's 3, I think. 1 on Thursday, 2 on Saturday. And yeah, it's been a good week. Historic week. And yeah, thanks for listening to the Championship Rounds podcast. All the links below. Everything is there. I say it every week. You know what's there. Yeah, thanks for listening.
See you in episode 10.